Yeah, they can still just make this work perfectly fine, and now they've got another hero that can sort of uh, contribute further to setting the exact tempo that they want. So DogChamp has certainly sort of drafted themselves into a bit of a rough spot here, but there is still some hope, maybe, depending on what they can get for Stonebank.
Yeah, and well, you're laning versus an Enigma 4. Arguably, it could be a 5 Enigma. You know, we could see them really shift it back if they want to have a slightly stronger lane for their Night Stalker. But if that's where, you know what I'm going to say? I want to see the Stonebank Ursa. If it doesn't get banned here from Nouns, I want to see just a shutout. I want to see Stonebank just win his lane, get a Battle Fury, play that Initiator. Right now, DogChamp, they've got great jump, but they have great jump while they're initiating. They do not respond well to aggression. It's where their only saving tool really is going to come from that Nightmare. Otherwise, you're hoping for the life drain. You're hoping you're not getting jumped by the Storm Spirit. You're hoping you have control to kind of work with to defend your front line. But at the same time, they want to be the starters. They want to be the ones making those first jumps. They want to be the ones getting into the fight. They also want to be the team fighting constantly. You're playing versus a Night Stalker. You have to play around those nighttime windows. You have to really strike when he's weak here. And I feel like getting Stonebank involved might be the only solution, might be the only way for them to really push themselves up ahead here. But that's where for Nouns, just going to look for a Costabile hero, a very simple hero, a hero that's just going to farm, who's going to have a good lane versus the Tiny and the Pugna, and then doesn't really care about the puck because DogChamp, they're the ones pressed for damage. They're the ones pressed on timer here. It's where any hero that buys a BKB is a good choice for Costabile in this game.
And they do ban out a couple of good ones there, the AM and the Templar Assassin, but, well, at this point, you're not going to be able to cover every last option, and as you said, Nouns don't really need one particular niche hero, they just need something that can last in the fights and do some damage. So, see what they choose here. We'll see what they ban first, actually, because it is going to be Stonebank's hero coming up first on the DogChamp side, and at this point, well, I don't know. They could look for another hero with a potential stun, part of the reason why the Wraith King sort of got taken away, and just look to further protect the likes of the Storm and the Enigma.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of a cop out, but do we really want to see DogChamp pick another Medusa? We could. I feel like that's where Nouns might be considering. And actually, Broodban is a little bit different. That's a little bit kind of, I don't want to say out of left field, but I can see the worry when it comes to their creep clear. This is a game where, unfortunately, both the Ench and the Enigma, they don't really help you all too much. They don't provide any of that wave clear, but at the same time, is it going to be active? Is it going to be a farmer? What are we going to see from Stonebank here? Because he is that linchpin. He has been the one performing, and it will
Okay.
be the cop-out. It will be the Medusa, a carry that cannot be blackholed with that Stone Gaze going on, but it has not looked great today. It has not looked great before. It was a big switch up in their drafting style whenever they started getting him on more of those active roles, but it's going to be Stonebank either farming to victory or falling flat here yet again.
And now, swinging things over to the Noun side, what is the carry option that you think they look for to potentially get onto and punish this Medusa?
Honestly, it could be a whole bunch of choices. It could be a PA, it could be a hero, a Costa Bila hero like the Luna. It could be something to just immediately go for that punish. They don't want to play into that range disadvantage where Medusa could just get a Scotty and then kind of slay you in that respect. But let's see.
Oh,
Spectre. Well, okay, a little passive, right? But also a hero that's going to get involved. They're going to have such a fantastic jump. Look at Nouns' lineup right now. The three cores could be anywhere and everywhere. The setup is going to be there. At nighttime, Dogship are going to be quivering. Every single time that Dark Ascension gets popped, you're getting jumped by a storm, you're getting haunted on, and then you're going to have Z-Freak with all of the vision in the world here. Well, Nouns had a vision problem before. Guess what hero solves that entirely? This is such a perfect pick from Costa Bila, actually. I am on the draft side of things, really concerned for DogChamp. I feel like we're going to need to see some crazy plays from them. Need to see that speed Tiny with a 15-minute Blink Dagger making plays constantly, snapping close with Ryoya, getting those first 15 minutes down to a T. Otherwise, it's a slippery slope. You're playing versus a Noun lineup that is good to scale. They're ready to go late. They want to go late, and they're going to look to kind of just outplay you in this game.
hmm. So many things for DogChamp now to worry about, and on top of all of this, this is your last chance, right? You're down 0-2 in a best of 5 series, so you have a lot of worries, a lot of concerns with this lineup, and you can't afford to drop this game. So it's not going to be fun for them, but if they can pull through and keep themselves alive in this best of 5, then, well, it'll be worth the effort, but it's going to take a lot of effort.
You know, it's going to be an uphill battle. It's going to be a struggle. Every single pick from nouns in that second phase is just gut wrenching. Just every single thing they're able to pick up, it just feels like exactly what they want. It's where the only thing I feel like you could do if you're DogChamp here is just have exceptional play, have incredibly solid lanes, be extremely careful, do not get picked off in the side lanes, just try to get a stable game of Dota coming out for you here, and if you don't, well, you're playing versus a Div 1 team here, you're playing with the top 4 in NA, these are the big boys on the field.
The good news is Costabile showing a little solidarity for me there. Not the only one having internet issues, apparently. So, said he had 40% packet loss and will go for a bit of a disconnect. So, you know, not the only one, ET. Just the one responsible for the stream,
Just the one,
unfortunately.
just the one. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Costa Vila is in a slightly different living situation as well. But it's all's well that ends well, and the game did start. You know, that's excitement in itself here. We'll see if the game continues to keep giving. That would be the worst if it just all stops dramatically. But that's where here we go. Nouns versus DogChamp, effectively a best of one going forward here.
Oh.
Not for Nouns, but for DogChamp.
Moo.
Tips?
Moo, I know you just didn't all chat it's Morbin time. I know you didn't do that. Oh. Okay. Well, I now instantly want the reverse sweep.
I mean, it is the sweep. You got to be so careful. I mean, he is the Morbin character. It's a Morbin time. Whatever he does Morb, though, it will go on cooldown for quite a while, and that is a time that you have to worry about if you are a DogChamp. Whatever he does Morb, it's going to be a lot of vision. We were talking about before in the previous draft what Enchantress can do when he does have that Morb vision, and then you'll suddenly have so much of an easier time finding the initiation. And look at the plays. Nice vision placed down here. Kmart doesn't know when to come in because I just said Morb like 7 times.
Yeah, how do you respond to that? How do you respond to the Morb?
We don't. We talk about the ward that they're killing. What Freak? He's
just gonna.
I think they saw him. I think they had a little bit of an idea of what was going on here, and an interesting word actually placed from Yaren here. But are they actually gonna clash here? They should see him. They've got the Night Stalker vision, but ooh, tough.
Okay. Just going to be forced to back away. So Nouns will grab themselves the rune in the river, but that's the only one that they get. DogChamp secure the other 3, so not a bad play to start things off. They're able to attract enough attention in that river to sort of make a move elsewhere.
Yeah, and Ryoya does eat a void for his trouble, but it's not really going to have an effect too much here. And at the end of the day, 2 split doesn't really end up mattering all too much.
Well, with that in mind, we get the laning stage underway here. Gonna look top first, but I don't know. This is gonna be an interesting one, ET. How much pressure do you think Speed and Bloody Nine are gonna be able to put onto this Spectre?
It's a very stable lane, and that's something they can play around. It's where Costabile, until he hits level 3, he really is going to eat a lot of damage when it comes to getting those ranged creeps, and at the same time, Husky does not want to be in the lane. He wants to just make those trades happen. Already kind of fighting for the camps right now. The B9 does have another sentry, so unfortunately, if you are Husky, you are going to lose that battle. At the very least, you are playing safe lane Enchantress, so if you do need to go deeper into that jungle, you will be able to. B9 almost killed the courier as well. Right clicks on Bane just do so much damage, but that's where, really, if Costabile is going to be under pressure and trading his life away, Speed has a very free time. Unless Bloody Nine leaves for the runes, this Tiny should have a really easy time last hitting versus the Spectre.
See how that lane develops as we move on. Meanwhile, looking over at the other side, this is going to be something that I don't know if DogChamp can do anything about in the early stages. Z-Freak is already starting to shove off to the jungle, and maybe this means Moo gets a little bit less farm than usual, but I think if you're Nouns, as long as Moo's still finding his levels and gets to the point where he can start sort of making rotations around the map, you're not going to care as much.
Yeah, and then Z-Freak gets to walk over. It gives a love tap over to Ryoya, and I feel like this is going to be your first blood, and you give it to Gunner of all people, and then he gets the top water rune after the bottle comes in. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better setup with the Storm.
First blood to nouns. Z-Freak already starting to flex a little bit here in this one, and just goes right back to farming. And again, what's anybody going to do about it, right? Yaren can't really do much. He can come over and be annoying, but he can't really stop it. And with a level 1 Nether Blast, I don't know if he's going to be able to steal any last hits either, so he just has to remain in lane, and they can poke at Moo quite a bit here with this damage. Don't know if they'll bring him down, but I think that's really the only option they have right now. If you can't get onto Z-Freak, at least try to bully the Night Stalker.
Yeah, and Moo is done farming for a little bit here. He got the double wave underneath the tower. Of course, Medusa naturally pushes it into the wave, but yeah, then they try to make a play on the Yaren. Yeah, the creep's coming over, but I feel like Z-Freak should give up on this, but it's where, unfortunately, Stonebank and snaking the way forward, getting harassment out onto the Night Stalker, just has a little bit too much in terms of HP, in terms of base stats. It just means he gets levels, he gets free XP, and nouns get a little bit of a lead already when it comes to just utilizing the map.
Still not a fun time for Moo. Meanwhile, over on the other side of the map, Stable and Husky trying to get a little bit of damage onto B9, but that's not really something they can do right now. The Spectre's not in much of a position to fight. Only good news, though, is that Husky can still absorb a fair bit of this damage. The toss came through, but even just a level 1 Nature's Attendance kind of helps him survive that and walk away from it, so still feeling okay. B9's going to start getting hit up a little bit here again, and he's able to fall back to the tower, so he should be alright, but these trades are getting a little bit hotter for the supports, at least.
Yeah, and it really is just having the level 2 enchant, being really obnoxious in the lane. I feel like if Costabile actually got the dagger onto B9 instead, he decided to go for as a creep as opposed to helping out with the kill. It's a very difficult trade to be made here. It's why Husky loves this hero so much. You just kind of win the lane for your friend here. And Costabile, even though he is a little bit behind in terms of last hits, again, you have more base damage, a lot more base damage on the Tiny to work with, so it is just that much easier. HP-wise, Costabile is not really getting forced out.
Meantime, Z-Freak makes another sort of half attempt over as... Hold on, actually. The fight's mid instead. Caught the very back end of it as Gunner was able to get the last bit of damage he needed. Ryoya honestly made a good show of it, trying to jump away to the orb, but not able to actually avoid the damage, and that's twice now that Gunner's been able to come out on top. First time he had help, so it's a little understandable. That time, though, ET, that's a one-on-one fight that he wins.
Yeah, and I don't know how he got that XP, if it's just from the kill before, if Z-Freak got out of the range or something like that, but I feel as if Ryoya just let himself get caught off guard with the level 6 and just dies for it, as B9 also just gets taken out in the top lane, and Nouns are doing the thing where they start winning their lanes, and more importantly, they don't lose their lanes. I also see Yaren dying in the bottom lane. It's just everywhere, pushed to the brink, and Stonebank now, though, oh, it got Gunner.
It's going to be the zip into the Vortex, into the Malefice, and that's just too much damage. Stonebank dead, and Yaren, yeah, you really can't be here, man. That's exactly why. Gunner, does he get the right click? Yes, he does. Overload finishes things off, and yeah, as you said, they're starting to do the thing again. The one thing that, if you're DogChamp, you really did not want to see in this game. 5 kills in 6 minutes, and, well, Nouns have the perfect lineup to kind of keep the ball rolling here after building some early momentum like this.
Yeah, and, well, it's just Gunner. He just walks back, gets a solo kill, walks back to base, TPs to his side lane, gets kills everywhere he needs to find them, and now he's got triple null. Doesn't get the power rune because he had spent so much time bottom, but gets the bounty rune, gets his bottle refilled, and then he's completely fine. And the DD rune didn't even go into the hands of Ryoya. It actually got picked up by Husky, and now look at what Husky's doing. He's just being a pain, a royal pain, and all during the cart timing as well. So his tower eats a little bit of damage. It's just Nouns, no time is ever wasted on this team. They are just so effective at making plays that just happen across the map so naturally for them.
And this is just painful to look at. You got Speed as well as B9, who both have to play defensively and almost hide underneath their own tower at the 7-minute mark. That's just not the way that this is supposed to play out, but just so obnoxious. And Husky's going to come in. He's got that Smasher, so if B9 isn't careful, he take a little bit too much damage, but Hellbear Smasher's attention gets turned over to Speed instead, but now Speed is in a rough spot, and here comes the Storm zipping in. Speed is not dead yet because Gunner wants to go after B9 first. Husky is there, though, to clean up the first kill, And I think it's just a matter of time here for the second. Actually, it might just be a third, because Yaren gets taken down in the bottom lane instead. B9 is actually not going to fall. That's a bit of good news for him, but now they need some sort of recovery play. They're going to go onto Costable. They hit him up with the coil. Husky, Nature's Attendants don't really work unless you're next to your teammate, and he doesn't get in there in time, so Costable does die, but they are turning the fight around. They took down B9. They would love to chase Ryoya as well, but Gunnar doesn't have the HP. He is going to fall. Speed even TP is in to get the Avatos combo onto Husky. And Nouns maybe reading their own headlines a little bit too much there. They felt like they were unstoppable, and they just stick around way too long. It's a lot of TPs, ET, but DogChamp do get some nice kills.
Yeah, and finally, they fly too close to the sun. They get picked off. They get punished by the coil. Possibly, if they get that kill on the B9 a little bit faster with some fancy footwork from the Bane to stay alive that long, we don't see that play out. But that's where, unfortunately, now they're right back onto it. Yaren, poor guy, just trying to play some Dota, get some XP in the mid lane, even just contest the 8-minute rune. Forces Moo to take it, at the very least, but that's where Nouns, they're still very active. They're still out onto the map, and that's where, unfortunately, for DogChamp, they have to farm. They have to wait a little bit more. They have a hard timer to work with on that Dream Coil, and they have to hit every single time it's up. It's where Speed plus Ryoya, they have to constantly look for these plays here. Unfortunately, though, Moo just got the Dark Ascension. He still has the Arcane Rune, and B9 is going to get popped. But can they get Moo instead? Oh, it's such a fast wake-up.
Oh, there's the haunt. Now it's turning into a problem. Speed is going to get jumped in on. They stun him up. He's not going down quickly, but he will still go down. That play at least gets Ryoya out of the fight, but now you've hit the danger zone, ET, right? You have Moo getting aggressive with his ult. You have the Haunt up and running for your Spectre, so Costable can be at any fight at any time. And, well, DogChamp can find some nice kills here and there, but if it suddenly turns from a 1-on-1 to a 3-on-1, you're not going to be able to hold your ground.
Yeah, definitely not. And that's where, okay, Coil's back up. We don't have 6 on our Bane, but can DogChamp actually make a play happen on the map? You need to get to your levels on these supports maybe a little bit faster here, but in the meantime, Nouns are just pestering your tier 1s. They're going to get this top tower. At least it's denied out from Speed, but it's where you wonder about the pace of the game right now, and it's about to be daytime. It's about to be maybe a 20-second window where Moo isn't actually able to assist his teammates in any capacity because it will be a little bit of an awkward time with the Dark Ascension, but you know once he has that Dark Ascension, he's going to look for another play. He's going to give the vision, and that's a power rune in Gunner's Bottle. It's not the most impactful one, but with the haste, you don't have to use that much mana to close the gap there. It's where I am very worried about these supports in the next few moments here, and actually just pops it right now. Maybe looking for speed, but this is a little bit of a stretch. I feel like they need one more if they want to go for the Tiny.
Yeah, Gunnar doesn't seem like he has the damage to do it himself. He is kind of trying to threaten like he's going to go in, but at this point, B9 and Ryoya are in position, so Speed would kind of actually like for Gunnar to try that by himself, but not going to happen. Storm backs away. Meanwhile, I want to check back in on Z-Freak, because not sort of talked too much about him since that laning stage, but progress is looking pretty good, ET. He's got the Arcane boost. He's focusing on the Blink Dagger first, so you do have to be careful, right? Blink into a black hole. There are still plenty of ways they could be canceled out, but I think Z-Freak, looking at the ability to pop that black hole and guarantee a teamfight win as being far more valuable and maybe worth the risk.
Yeah, definitely, and you do have a lot to play around. Specifically, you've got all of Puck's kit, you've got the Avalanche that is very pesky to deal with. I feel as if it's a situation where he's getting the Blink Dagger mainly just to find the Medusa by himself, and then they go for that smoke play instead. And again, with tools like the Dark Ascension and like the Haunt, you do get to hold that black hole for a very long time. You get to buy space, and if you ever see that insane group up, you know what's coming. And I think that's why he's looking for that moment in time, but that's also where during the day, they're looking, and they found Costabile, huge bottom.
Bean's grip keeps him locked down, and they will find the kill. Nouns, meanwhile, well, recognizing that they weren't going to be able to get there in time, so they're just going to try and sort of batter away at this tier 1 tower mid, but the glyph comes through, and Yarn TP's over to defend. They bring the Bane over here as well, and it's not going to result in what Nouns really wanted, although, what's going on here? Speed got in trouble, but Gunnar already used the Vortex, so unable to cancel the TP, and DogChamp swing a nice play in their favor.
Yeah, it's really just a little bit to stop what's going on. But at the same time, smoke up. They want to use Dark Ascension. They found another Arcane rune, one that unfortunately Gunnar was not able to bottle, but now you get your free play, and Ryoya, he doesn't have a Blink Dagger, he's going for the Witchblade build instead. Honestly feel as if they could probably go for a kill onto him if they see him, but that's where Husky, he's going to catch him out, and they actually just saw him orb. Wait a second.
Oh, that's a problem.
No.
They jump straight onto him. There's that silence. Impetus coming in for the follow-up damage, and Ryoya...
What a timing.
That's
just...
so unfortunate for him that he just accidentally walks into the trap, and now Moo... Okay, thought for a moment maybe he would look to keep going onto Yaren, but they feel the tower's more valuable, and yeah, kind of hard to argue against that. But now, we're going to try to go for Yaren anyway. That's a very long zip from Gunnar, but now he's used up a lot of his mana, but Moo is here. There's going to be the silence, there's the damage, and they turn 1 kill into 2 and an objective.
Yeah, and then the Dark Ascension ends, and then Moo retreats into the jungle, pops his Midas, and they're just farming a little bit too much here on the downside. They're getting so much out of the map right now, and at the same time, Stonebank would have loved to stick around and maybe try and defend his tower a little bit more, but it's where those card timings are just so well orchestrated by nouns. They just get so much early damage on the towers, and you blink, and then suddenly it's gone. And that's also where, though, however, Stonebank has a very fast Manta. The fastest Manta I've seen him get in the tournament. If he's able to put up some crazy timings, that might catch nouns off guard. That might be a team fight where they're unable to take. And the reason they pick up this Medusa is because team fight-wise, that knocks out both supports here on the noun side. They cannot do anything versus him, but until that point, it is a struggle, and it's a good coil. But they don't have the damage here, and immediate retreat. They're going to have to just cut Yaren off instead.
Good attempt by Ryoya, just didn't realize that there were other heroes nearby, or not even nearby, I guess, because Costable was one of the first ones in there just popping the haunt, so that does put it on cooldown, so now you've got 2.5 minutes if you want to try and make another play, but first and foremost, Ryoya has to wait for the Dream Coil, because without that, I don't think he can really keep anyone locked in place to actually do any damage.
Yeah, and, well, we have our blink finally. Speed's very patiently been building it up towards bottom. He's going to have it. They have a smoke actually in his inventory already as well, because he knows it's time to look for the Spectre. It's time to look for the backline. Unfortunately, it will be nighttime in just a few moments here. It's where nouns maybe miss their smoke timing a little bit. You usually want to do it maybe a minute to 45 seconds before it's going to be nighttime, just so that we can get it off as soon as possible. But this smoke into smoke is not looking great for DogChamp in the black hole.
And it's going to catch on to 3. There's the avalanche to cancel it out, but it did still do a fair bit of work. Ryoya, he's at least able to fall back, but I think now the supports are kind of stuck in the middle of it. Yaren is trying to get away. Gunnar, though, actually went to continue the chase. He jumps into the coil, however. The toss actually did not snap that coil, but they do get the Fiend's Grip down. So Gunnar is going to fall. Rest of nouns do finish off Yaren, but now, well, what do they have left? They use the black hole. Haunt's still on cooldown, and Gunnar's dead, so it's kind of got to be the end of it. And if you're DogChamp, I think you handle that quite nicely. You get the Gunnar kill and only lose your supports.
Yeah, and it looks great initially, right? You get the black hole, everybody's isolated, but it's the Blink Dagger that comes out from Speed. They were not ready for that tie-in to be aware of that situation. It's what Moo is looking for, but Speed jumps over the Night Stalker. They try to do damage as opposed to keeping that control, and they get ahead of themselves. And now you realize if you're nouns, well, we've got 3 incredibly long ultimates. We just expended it at the beginning of nighttime here. Well, now the next 2 minutes for Stonebank look free, and this is farm. This is a lot of farm that Stonebank's going to be able to amass in the next few minutes here, and it's where you do have that thought in the back of your mind where we're playing versus a Medusa. We cannot afford to just use our abilities and then not do anything with them, and that's where we might see a little bit of a pause here from nouns. They have to find ways onto objectives. They have to actually make use of the deaths they're able to get here, but it's also where support kills are not enough. They need to find a core out. They need to stop what's able to happen here on the DogChamp side. And if they don't, we are already seeing that gold lead really start to dissipate here. Yaren, though, he's free.
Yep. Able to clean that one up. Free and easy. Get some damage onto the tier 2 here as well. So, not a bad play for nouns, although on the other side of things, they're on tier 2. Going to take a little bit of damage in exchange, but feels like nouns should be able to take this a little bit faster. Glyphs are coming out from both sides, though, and since these are tier 2 towers, those are glyphs that aren't going to be immediately refreshed, and Well, we'll see if that has an impact, right, next 5 minutes in terms of anyone making any further pushes, but for now at least, nouns get the tower. The question now, ET, well, where do they look to go? 60 seconds for Black Hole still. They've got the Haunt back up, so, well, maybe if they just want to try and make a play with Moo and Gunner pushing forward, they do have the option, but do they really want to take that risk right now?
Yeah, and if I am nouns right now, they will look for a smoke up with Dark Ascension coming back up, but there's no BKB finish just yet on Gunner, and he's 500 gold away. It's the type of smoke you play, and if you lose and you say, okay, just let me finish my BKB, guys, it might be a little bit unfortunate here. With Stonebank showing up, I don't know if they want this jump. I feel like they might just immediately decide to call for back here. As Kostabile, he's in.
He went for it, but there's the Fiend's Grip. They are going to be able to cancel it, but the Dream Coil comes out instead. So the Spectre is locked down. They're going to finish her off, and this is going horribly. Gunner locked down by the Nightmare. He's going to have to zip away. Looks like for now he'll make it out, but boy, I can't believe that Kostabile actually jumped in there. It really seemed like they weren't going to make that call. Spectre, I don't know. I mean, I guess there was a Manta in the inventory, but that doesn't feel like enough to jump into 4 or 5 heroes.
Yeah, and at that stage of the game, you don't just go in the back line and get a kill. And I understand that Kostabile, he doesn't want to be locked out of the big team fight. He knew that was going to be a wide-scale fight, but now it's into the triangle, no less. It was so easy for Stonebank to just already be in the vicinity. It's not like he showed bottom and then they make that play. He just walks over. The Stone Gaze comes out a little bit too quick. Very surprised that they didn't lose Gunner there as well. I feel like they got a little bit lucky, just already using the grip to then force that extra jump. But by forcing the jump, and it's now Gunner's job suddenly to cancel the grip, you have half mana on Storm Spirit, and then the play just falls apart. And now, daytime in a minute here, your cooldowns will line up, pretty nicely. It's why you go for that play, so that way everything kind of fits perfectly. It's a play that you can kind of automatically make here. But into this next daytime, this is the strongest Stonebank is ever going to be. He's got a full Scotty Manta sub 20 minutes. Like, this is the most farmed I think I've ever seen Stonebank.
He is looking pretty damn impressive, and over on the other side, the Spectre just doesn't have the same sort of build-up. Manta is there. He's working towards an Aghanim Scepter now, but well, that Ags is still quite a long ways away here, so they need to either win a fight or buy some time, and fight was sort of coming their way there as B9 does get spotted, but now you have to be careful if you're DogChamp, right? Started to swing some net worth your way. Stonebank is very, very farmed. However, at the end of the day, there is an Enigma on the other side. The threat of the Black Hole is always going to be there, and while they were able to cancel it out quite nicely the last time around, that's no guarantee that you can do it again as... Okay. Attempt on Kostabile, not going to be able to really get him. They do catch out Z-Freak, though, over to the southwest, and this might be something a bit more reasonable for them to find, but Z-Freak blinks into the trees.
Wow.
Speed guesses in the wrong direction with the Avalanche, and you get the Enigma out of there.
Yeah, and this is an issue, though, that DogChamp have had in previous games. Stonebank is so farmed, he has such a lead, but unfortunately in the past, what do you do with this lead? How do you make your unkillable Medusa a threat to your opponents? What do you do to make them say, okay, we cannot deal with him? How do you use this ultra farmed carry at this stage? It's an advantage that we've already seen DogChamp lose track of before. I feel like that's where they really need to start making the calls. It's where decisiveness becomes everything. And, well, there's a coil. They get these kills so close to the tier 2 as well. This is going to be building damage, but watch Z-Freak. He can't hold now, though.
Oh, they actually caught Ryoya, however. They're able to get him back into the Vortex, so they do take him down. That is a nice Fiend's Grip from B9, but do they have enough damage to actually kill him off? They're going to go for the toss. Will it be enough? Yes, it will. Speed gets the kill. Husky falls. Or not Husky, excuse me. His Courier falls. He's hit by the Nightmare, and I don't think he's getting out of this one. They're just going to surround... Oh, God. They surround the Enchantress, but Z-Freak comes in. There's going to be your Black Hole onto 4. They're going to clean up both of the supports right away, and now they got the Silence down. Speed in some trouble. They're trying to finish him off first. Then they can focus on the Medusa alone, but Stonebank... He was doing a nice bit of damage while they were trying to get the Tiny, so does end up with a kill, and now Moo's hesitant to go back in, but decision gets made for him. They get the toss into the Avalanche. Moo needs to be able to get onto the high ground again. He's not going to be able to make it, though. It's a nice Black Hole from Z-Freak, but they just didn't quite have the damage to punch through. At the end of the day, Kostabile lives. That's got to count for something, but they were hoping it would be a more decisive sort of team fight winning play than that, ET.
Yeah, and I feel as if they go knowing it's going to be a one-way streak, at least for Z-Freak. He knows he is just going to die. There's no way they kill Stonebank in that situation, but at the same time, it's a play to even out the score versus the Spectre and the Medusa. And Costabile being the survivor, that's great. He got a lot of XP, he got a lot of farm, but at the end of the day, still does not feel the same. It feels like Stonebank really is playing that much faster, and on the mid lane, Gunnar gets coiled. He's going to have to pop his BKB most likely here unless he really feels it. Oh my goodness, that's patient, but...
Does he actually go for Ryoya, though? No. Well, okay. Patience pays off. You hold on to another charge, but at this point, DogChamp, as long as they're sort of working behind Stonebank here with the rest of the lineup, they're not really feeling all that scared of the Nouns lineup.
Yeah, and Stonebank about to have a full Silver Edge as well. Then you've got the crit. Then you have a little bit more Roche potential. If you ever get an Aegis on DogChamp, it's so scary for Nouns to then make that fight with these expensive abilities. You cannot play versus an Aegis. It just does not make sense for you. And it's really the only situation, I think, where Stonebank is going to feel comfortable enough to actually hit the high ground. And well, look at that. Immediately into the pit here. They know there's no Dark Ascension, there's no Black Hole. They're going to have those abilities in maybe 15-20 seconds time, but that's with Roche going to be at half HP here. And then I don't think you make this fight happen. I feel like you just let it over as Yaren stops everybody to decrep Roche, but, he's trying to be nice. I think he tried to pop the spell block there. It's the only reason he goes for it, and the scan's going to come out, but I don't think this is going to matter. Nouns kind of have to give it up, and first Aegis, as we usually say, doesn't change all that much here, but it's DogChamp's easy way to try and win this game.
Well, they've got Aegis. They just grabbed a haste rune on Ryoya, so they're in a position now to, like you said, try and do something. Try and deliver really maybe a knockout blow. Push Nouns back into a sort of definitively defensive position, but as of yet, Nouns are not pulling back here, but this is going to be a high ground push, and there's actually no one in the base at the moment, so they do need to start sort of bringing people over. Gunnar is looking for an opening on the back line, and he does have that BKB ready, so he could try to make something happen, or he could just sort of zip in, try and cut the creep wave, and go from there. The problem is he didn't get all of the creep waves. The tier 3 tower will still fall, and the racks are really just going to be taken with no significant resistance.
Yeah, and it is a free Rax. It's a Rax taken ahead of schedule, and this is sometimes a flaw that you do see with these teams. They skipped a few steps here because of the relative strength of their lineup. They have a lot of time they have to spend getting this mid tower, going all the way bottom, refreshing the glyph. It's a great timing. It's where they don't have glyph on the Noun side, but now they need to find another pick on the dire side of the map. Otherwise, you might have been better off going for that second tier 2 mid before that high ground push, because now you have an awkward reset on the map here, and with the Enchantress creeps, with the Eidolons in the side lanes, Stonebank has to pull the wave here, but they need to keep this ball rolling. It's that decisiveness that could be DogChamp's ticket to victory here. Anything they can do with this Aegis, these next 3 minutes are critical for their side.
Magnum Scepter finished off there by the Spectre, so they have a chance as Z-Freak drops the Black Hole. It's only on to 1. Bloody Nine was the target, so they do take him down, but what else can they get right now? Well, not much more, but Stonebank did use the ult, so maybe they have an opening, and now they're going to try and make their move. They would love to get onto Bloody Nine a second time as he had bought back into the game, but they just really don't have the damage right now. Gunnar just has to sort of back away, but Ryoya doesn't want to let him go. Dream Coil, though, will whiff, and it looks like Gunnar does manage to TP himself home. Nouns will all back as best as they can, and I guess that wasn't terrible for them. They lose the 2 supports and get a kill and a buyback. The only problem is, I mean, that's Black Hole being committed, and it really didn't get them the targets that they wanted as... Never mind. Gunnar. Thought maybe he would go for that long zip, but he's not actually going to commit with no BKB.
Yeah, and now the question is this another Rax? You used your 3 big ultimates. I feel like it's going to be. There's 2 minutes left in this Aegis. Unless they kill off the supports in the backline here, this just should be another objective. The cart even got to stay alive there, so even though this creep cut's made, and actually, Costabile, he needs help. They don't have the vision to really keep this going here, but the Manta's so early in speed. Oh, no.
Well, that's a Spectre dead. 50 seconds on the sideline. Not enough money for buyback right now, and Nouns, oh, they may have misplayed this one, well, pretty terribly, because, I I mean, what can they do here? Gunner's going to try for something, I suppose. He does zip in. He gets the Vortex onto Stonebank as he goes, but that's just a momentary delay. It's not enough to actually stop this, and that should be a second lane of Rex gone.
He just pushes in, hits onto this. There is that reset toss. Oh, boy. The break. It's so easy for him, and Gunner trying to get onto Yarn, but the Force Staffs are there with the Pugna Ward down. Doesn't have enough damage, and, well, what a lead to be having going into 30 minutes here. I don't know what Nouns really do here. The numbers are just not on their side. They need farm. They need a long, messy engagement. They really needed to not play versus this Aegis. I feel like just using their abilities a little carelessly really cost them a huge window in this game. I feel like DogChamp, they're going to have this lead. They're going to be winning for the next 10 minutes if they're careful. They can still throw this away. They need to be really cautious. They can't give up too much here. And, well, that's a free kill up top. That's the Aghanim Scepter from the Spectre finished. And they could certainly throw still, but let's see. Nouns, can they get the ball rolling again?
Able to make a quick play onto Yarn there. Stonebank, however, is trying to fight back. Z-Freak, though, he's coming in with no black hole, but they are still showing a little bit of respect to him, if nothing else.
Gunner.
But yeah, Gunner. I think he tried the TP out instead of the zip because he was kind of low on mana, but they do lock him down, and now Moo's going to die as well. And Kostopoli, he's here, but this isn't a fight that they can take. They just need to try and back out as best as they can. Z-Freak's getting the black hole back up, but now they won't have the damage, even if he does manage to get it off onto multiple heroes.
Yeah, and they're funneling right now. They're just getting picked off over and over again, and they're still looking for the supports. They'd love to buy back, get a black hole onto Relay. It's why they keep this positioning on both the Enigma and the Spectre, but let's see. Do they group up here? They don't pop it. They don't go soon enough. I feel like now Speed's just going to be fine, and can you really take this fight? I do not think so. I feel like we need to see them back out right now. This is dangerous water to play in, Nouns.
Z-Freak might just end up dying, so now there's no black hole at all, and yeah, it's time to leave. They've just got to try and get away with anyone that they have left. Kosabli's going to make a break into the tree line and TP home. Nouns, they're just not finding the opportunities that they were hoping for, and I don't know, ET, at this point it feels like they're going to be looking at a much, much later timing here unless Z-Freak pulls off a just straight miracle play with the black hole.
Yeah, they need to somehow get a situation where Stonebank is dying. But Stonebank, he's got the Scotty, he's got a Silverwitch, he has a full Butterfly. He's looking for a Daedalus next here. And then anyone dies that's near him. He is already so strong during the Stone Gaze, but post that, do you have enough damage to actually take him down here? It's where, unfortunately, having the Wraith Pact on the Tiny, having Yarn, who's not getting killed by Gunner, sure, you've got the split plays, you're able to defend your buildings, but this is the last building. It doesn't matter. They're going to have two waves in naturally. It's where, unfortunately, Nouns don't play the split push game either. It's not like your Night Stalker's going to be pushing on the other side of the map and getting away with it. That's no NP or DK. I feel like, really, depending on how kind the Roche is here, we could see Nouns forced into an impossible fight and into an impossible defense. If we see another Aegis on Stonebank, that might be the slow, insidious death.
Well, the good news for Nouns is that Roche won't be back up for at least a little while. Minute 20 for the fastest possible respawn timer, but this does still leave them in a very weak position. The good news, at least, is that they still have the Spectre out and about on the map, trying to farm up, looking for the Orchids, so maybe a little bit more lockdown and damage could do the trick for them, but it just feels like everything Nouns is doing right now is just got a massive sort of question mark attached to it.
Yeah, and, well, I'm just very tensely waiting. 50 seconds. We'll see if he's kind or if he's a mean warden, but at the same time, smoking out of the base, it's Nouns. They've got Dark Ascension. They've got BKB. If they see the Bane, the ward is placed. They're playing for this high ground. It's very smart. It's very disciplined Dota here. They see that there's no ward, so they place one of their own, so this could be a hole to play in here. DogChamp need to be very careful on the cliff, and Speed. Oh, look at this. It's not what they wanted, but they'll take it.
Ooh, okay. Check the pit. He did catch Yarn, but now here comes Stonebank. There's going to be the Stone Gaze activated, and Ryoya jumps in. Drops the coil. They kill off Husky, but they would love to get more, and they do have eyes on Kostabile. They're not going to actually chase after him, though, but now the black hole comes in. It does catch Stonebank, but really, they're trying to go after everyone else instead. They kill off Yarn, but I think that's all they can do. Moo has to try and fall back, and Kostabile is already out of the fight. Gunner, though, is going to reinitiate. He sort of re-upped in the fountain, but oh my god, Stonebank just destroys him with the right-click damage. Gunner at least lives. But this is not a fight they can take any longer. Moo's not going to be able to get away. The avalanche stuns him up. The toss comes in to finish it. Stonebank just hits way, way too hard. And at this point, ET, buybacks are not really looking so hot. So DogChamp are just going to try to end it. They're going in for the tier 4s.
Yeah, and Gunner got Avatos. He's back to the fountain, though. Oh my goodness, it's so close, but no buybacks, no ultis. Stonebank, he smells blood, and with that glyph, that could just be the game. That could be the end right here. Kostabila is just simply too weak. He's not able to do anything. He's not able to hold a candle to Stonebank right now, and that's game. I feel like there's nothing they can do here at this point. With the Ancient exposed, they don't even need to worry about the heroes right now. Stonebank's just going to end it for him, but man, we're going. We're going to game 4. What a game from Stonebank. This is the best Medusa I've seen from him. Usually he goes for the lands. Usually he slows up his timing, but 13-minute Manta style, 19-minute Scotty. What a pace to be set here. And we said it was a cop-out. We said it was just something that hasn't worked in the past so many times for Stonebank, but boy, oh boy, he did not want to get eliminated in this game. And Nouns did not have the answers. They felt so good. They were so confident. They end the game with more kills than their opponents here, but they drop the ball. They lose a few team fights, and versus that Medusa from Stonebank, you cannot make that many mistakes. What a great game from him.
We sort of always talk about him being sort of or one of, if not the, just straight leader for this team, and the squad often goes as he goes, and this time he was just able to put him on his back. Incredible amounts of farm, 891 GPM for your Medusa, and yeah, if your Nouns, I think they just overvalued their own amounts of lockdown and teamfight. They figured we're going to be able to throw everything we've got at this Medusa and just kind of kill her via that dog pile, and that was not even close to the case.
Yeah, and you get to see their idea in that last fight where both supports are exposed. You have infinite vision. You have great eyes on everybody on the DogChamp side. Z-Freak gets to pull the Medusa away for that fight. He finds his way onto the stake post Stone Gaze and keeps her out for so long, but unless the rest of the lineup is strong, unless Kostabile specifically is ready to assist him, it's just Gunner going in. Everybody else was just caught in these kills that took way too long. It's where, unfortunately, B9 does not die fast enough. The Wraith Pact gets cast by speed. Yaren does not die either. And then, if you are killing them, DogChamp are a team that constantly have buybacks on their supports. They're always willing to use that as their trump card. They get back into the fight. What is a 7 versus 5 it ends up being a 5 versus 5 yet again. And even though you got these picks so early on into the fight, you use your big CDs. They run out. You run out of time. The 2 times that Nouns used their glyph on defensively on their side of the base, it just resulted in way too much farm, way too many racks taken way too early. And then really, that Aegis was just a killer. DogChamp, they turned their impossible carry into 2 racks, into an insurmountable lead, and Kostabile was unable to do anything about it. He was just stuck none the wiser on the Spectre. Coming into game 4, I feel like we don't really need to see all too much from Nouns changing up style-wise, but play-wise, they just couldn't do anything versus Stonebank.
They just get, they get sucker punched a little bit, right? By the Medusa. They weren't as ready for it as they thought they were. So, as you said, style-wise, it can probably look similar in game 4, but maybe push Stonebank onto something else. So, we'll see. But one way or another, we do know for sure there will be no sweep today. DogChamp do avoid that rather, unfortunate ending to their run. They're still alive. So the question now, can they actually pull off the reverse sweep at Nouns' expense? Not 100% sure, but if they play like they did in this match, they certainly do stand a chance at making that happen. So they get their first victory on the board, down 2-1 in this series, looking to tie things up. We will head into game 4. So we're going to step away for a bit of a commercial break. When we return, it will be the start of the game 4 draft. So stick around. We'll be coming right back.